Hey everyone, my name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we will be discussing content houses. We'll go through the history of content houses and how they got to be as popular as they are today, the pros and cons of content houses, and my thoughts regarding everything discussed. But before we get started, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, please leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on today's video, as well as other topics you would want to see in the future. Now, let's get started. You've heard of the Team 10 house. You've heard of the Hype house. You've heard of the clubhouse. You've heard of the sway house. You've heard of the not a content house. You've heard about a lot of houses, and there's a bunch more that you probably haven't. And that's okay. There's way too many to count at this point. But what are these content houses? And why does it seem like a new one pops up every few days? Well, according to Flare.com, content houses are defined as a physical space for creators from YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok to collaborate. When you think about a content house, you might go back to the time of the Team 10 house, the modern resurgence of the concept of the content house. But if you're someone who kept up with YouTube for a while now, you might remember the channel Our Second Life, a YouTube collective group that had their very own O2L mansion. Obviously from there, we had Jake Paul's Team 10 house, jumping forward to his predecessor, Thomas Fitzgerald, and former housemate Daisy Keach's Hype house, to a slew of many other McMansions that have shown up not just in America, but around the world. The initial point of content houses was to have creators come together and do just that, make content. The social media stars would benefit not only from combining followers and subscribers, but they also had a place where they could hang out with their friends 24/7 to do just that. While the concept of filming with your friends while getting richer and more famous off of each other sounds like the dream, there have been a fair share of criticism of content houses and the creators that reside in them. Therefore, I think it's best to take a look at the pros and cons of content houses and see what all the talk is about. So let's start with pros. Like I said, content houses are a collective meeting place for large and up-and-coming content creators to live, make content, and hang out with friends. By having all of these creators in one place, it makes it easy to get together and make content. Some houses have requirements on how much content you should be making, thus keeping the creators motivated. Also, by having others there, they are able to uplift each other, wanting the best for one another as they work on their individual journeys. On top of that, being around a lot of other creators gives them the ability to expand their audience. Collaborations get more eyes, and the reach is truly endless if they work with the right people. Thus, they gain more followers and gain them a lot faster than they probably would have on their own. This, of course, brings in two really big things for content creators: money and clout. If you weren't aware, I am telling you now. These influencers are richer than ever, or so they appear to be. And with that much coming in, they benefit greatly from partaking in a content house. They get more exposure to more opportunities as a collective, and the payouts can be quite substantial with the right charging rates. The kids are making bank these days, and that's good on them. However, the clout. Now, clout is a double-edged sword. While I will rehash this in the cons section, I do have to say that clout isn't all bad. To stay relevant, you need a sliver of clout in your arsenal. People don't check for someone they don't know. Therefore, influencers tend to rely on having clout to stay relevant and get ahead. But while having a level of clout does keep you on the tips of people's tongues, it can work against you if the wrong approach is taken. And for a lot of bigger names in the influencer game, this approach is taken more often than not. Now on to the cons. So as you can see, working with other people can be fun. However, it can be a bit chaotic. The differences in people regarding what they want for themselves versus the house and more has contributed to the creators leaving or switching houses in the past. For some content houses, things have gotten into a much more serious territory, which for some has led to the demise of the content house itself. Using the Team 10 house as an example, there were a lot of reasons for the changes in the house. Some creators left on their own, citing that they wanted to focus on other ventures, like Chase Sutton and Alex Liu. Others, like the Martinez twins and Alyssa Violet, discussed the negative impact of being in the house, detailing their time being in the group and working with Jake Paul. As of now, the Team 10 house has shuffled through all of the OGs with the exception of Jake Paul and is now looked at as a defunct content house. In a similar fashion, former Team 10 member Thomas Fitzgerald, now one of the founders of the Hype house, has had to deal with a changing roster. there was a battle with former co-founder Daisy Keach when the house was first established, which eventually ended up with her leaving and founding her own house, the Clubhouse. This was followed up with the departure of Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio, two of the biggest creators on TikTok. They, however, still interact with the people in the Hype House and collaborate with them as well. This begs the question, will the Hype House follow the same path as Team 10? Personally speaking, only time will tell, but let me know your thoughts below. Continuing on, some content creators in these houses have gotten into trouble regarding the health and safety of others and themselves. Starting off with stuff you already know, if you keep up with TikTok, you definitely heard about the Sway House. These guys in the house, specifically Bryce Hall, have made headlines for hosting large parties during the pandemic in the well-known hotspot of California. While not the only ones, they were the most noteworthy, as they ended up getting their power and water cut as a result of this. Going back to Cloud, this is what I meant by taking the wrong approach. Personally speaking, I found that a lot of these parties and related stunts, like drama between houses and other creators, were for the clout. Clout is lucrative, and while it does get the people talked about, it can leave a negative impression on the collective of content houses and creators. TikTokers get a bad name as it is from these big creators, but these creators make a lot of money and get a lot of followers, which makes them popular. And then they share that popularity amongst the other creators in their respective houses, and thus the pro and con clout loop continues. These were just a few things I noted while looking up information about content houses. There are definitely a bunch more points that can be made. And with that being said, I now turn the mic over to you. What do you think of content houses? Would you ever even consider joining a content house? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Before I finish up, I will say that I don't think content houses are inherently the problem. It's literally the people in them. We keep rooting for these people, and some of them, in my personal opinion, do not deserve it. Content houses have their benefits, but the same reasons as to why they do well are also contributing to why they don't. The people and their desire for clout. These creators do well money-wise, but at the cost of being known for their problematic behavior. And the unfortunate thing is that the pros of being in a content house tend to overshadow the cons. We are at the point of just expecting antics from people because that's just how it's always been. However, these antics come at the expense of other things like reputation. And I just feel like people who create content houses haven't fully been able to work out the kinks in them to make them a really good environment and also really profitable. And this can lead to problems for the next round of creators, since they will think they need to follow this blueprint set before them by these other houses and creators, when there surely has to be another way. All I can say is that while I don't totally disagree with the concept of a content house, I think we progressed past the need for collab houses that have the goal of stirring up controversy for clicks. We can do better. But anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!